Folks, I'm Ryan7. Today is week 10 of reading every DC comic. I'm gonna be like rushing through this kinda, cause honestly, I'm sick of the weekly format. I'm going back to daily. But obviously I can't do that now because I've already finished the slideshow. So I'm gonna be sort of, running through this slideshow really quick. So we start on Monday with Action Comics number 46, Adventure Comics 72, and All Flash number 4. So starting with Action Comics 46, which you can see on the right here, there's a gambler calling himself the Domino, who goes to absurd lengths to bring gambling to an amusement park. So he just does some absurd, crazy stuff. He's a gangster, right? It's a classic plot we've seen before. We've seen Superman deal with gambling before. Adventure Comics number 72 is just absurdly racist, and All Flash number 4, I really like this one because it's a story from front to back, and also Flash travels through time. Also, today, Monday, Captain Marvel, there was a conspiracy using magic and Morse code to sell information to Japanese spies. And this story was advertised to be much more interesting than it was. The conclusion was very boring. I don't even remember the conclusion. That's how boring it was. Anyways, this is the Monday summary. Moving on. Flash Comics 27. Flash helps Spike Dugan, a kid whose brother is currently incarcerated gangster, get on the right track. So he helps the kid get on the right track using the brother. He also helps Slit, the older brother, the older gangster brother, get on the right track. The reforming stuff isn't incredibly well written, but it's a nice message nonetheless. In Hawkman, Hawkman teaches a group of hawks to stop a gold heist. Tuesday summary. Police Comics number 8. Plastic Man stops a giant 8-ball. He can turn into a snake now. His powers keep getting weirder. I don't know. Sensation Comics number 3. Wonder Woman gets a job as some army guy's secretary to stay close to Steve after he's let out of the hospital. She has beef with one of the other secretaries whose sister happens to be working with a Nazi who tricked her. Diana gets framed by the secretary, and then Diana escapes her cell as Wonder Woman and finds the secretary, convincing her to reveal everything. Steve is in danger due to the secretary's sister, and the Nazis are trying to get some formula he has. Wonder Woman sends Etta Candy a mind message, and together they stop the sister, save Steve, and retrieve the formula. Diana's name is cleared, and she convinces Steve to let Eve, the secretary, go free. World's Finest Comics number 5. In the Superman part, Boner Love. Honestly, I'm with the bad guys in this one, for the most part, because some rich white fucker wants to dismantle a Native American tower and have it rebuilt on his property. Obviously, the Native Americans are upset about this. Superman, for some baffling reason, decides to help the rich white fucker and picks up the tower and places it down on his lawn. Some other rich white fucker has heard of treasures within the tower and pulls a bunch of schemes to get them, but is defeated in the end. Just let the Native Americans have their tower, man. Like, how is the rich white loser depicted as the good guy here? But I guess you have to think about the times. Batman. Crime takes a holiday. The 3 crime bosses of Gotham get together and decide to stop doing crime in Gotham. I really like this one. Everyone in the city is surprised when they and their gangs seemingly take up legitimate, legal lives and careers. Secretly, the gangs are going to other cities, disguising themselves as those cities' gangs and committing their crimes there. Batman disguises himself as a thug and discovers this plot. Together, Batman and Robin work with the police force to take down the 3 crime bosses. Action Comics 47. Lex Luthor discovers a way to use electricity to give himself superpowers. He uses these powers to extort a young millionaire into sending invites to the richest people in Metropolis for a dinner party where the richest one there will get $3 million. They have to bring $100 in cash. Is it really $100? Or did I write my notes wrong? $100 in cash each to prove they are rich. Lex then knocks all of them out, and Lois, who snuck in, he knocks them all out and Lois, who snuck in using his powers, and plans to steal all the money. Superman arrives to stop him, but Lex reveals his powers and Superman can't do anything against him. Lex tells Superman to go retrieve the Power Stone, a rare hidden gem, or he'll kill Lois. Superman retrieves the Power Stone but swaps it for a fake, tricking Luthor. Luthor's powers wear out and Superman defeats him. Wednesday summary. Flash Comics 28. Jay Garrick notices a robbery and stops it. Turns out it was just a publicity stunt, but the hotel owner didn't know about it. Jay and the hotel owner believe this. They believe that there's a publicity stunt for the hotel that the hotel doesn't know about. Turns out it wasn't a publicity stunt, and the publicity stunt guy is actually a mobster. He sends one of his goons, a mobster, not a monster. He sends out one of his goons to convince Joan and the Flash are in a Hollywood movie to trap Flash. I guess it's widely known Joan and the Flash are dating now. Joining the Flash go to Hollywood, and there's a bunch of different attempts to kill the Flash, and he eventually stops the mobster. More Fun Comics 78. Some kid tries to run away from home to become a pirate. He meets Captain Kilgore, but upon hearing about how ruthless his crew is, tries to back out. Captain Kilgore and his crew capture the kid and plan to kill him. Oliver and Roy hear about the recent rises in pirate activity and decide to do something about it. They don their costumes and head out as Green Arrow and Speedy. They hunt down the pirates and barely manage to survive a torpedo. Green Arrow heads off to follow their cruise ship while Speedy waits behind and waits for his signal. Green Arrow is captured but manages to use a makeshift bow and arrow to send the signal. Speedy arrives and frees Green Arrow. Together the two stop the pirates and save the kid with a torpedo. Thursday summary. Superman number 15. Clark is jealous of an athlete named Phil Carter, who's going out with Lois. Suddenly, Phil goes missing. The next day, an old man claiming to be Phil approaches Lois. She runs away and he's pulled into a van. Clark checks fingerprints and discovers the old man was telling the truth. A young boy named Tim said he recognized one of the men who grabbed old Phil, a thug who works for a prominent gangster. Superman finds Phil locked up in the gangster's basement and saves him. Together, Clark and Lois check his fingerprints and discover for sure it's really Phil. Phil and Lois are captured. Superman saves them and the Evolution King's other victims, but the Evolution King escapes. Clark and Lois are captured. Clark tricks the Evolution King and defeats him, retrieving the antidote and restoring everyone's age. Wiz Comics 29. The Four Billies return. There's a Pan-American sports competition going on, and a group of gangsters plan to cause chaos and ruin Pan-American relations. Billy tries to catch them before the games, but he failed because he can't be in two places at once. He calls on the three Billies, who can for some reason become Captain Marvel just because they share a name, to help him. Fat Billy is a Dodgers fan. Together, the Four Billies watch over the games and stop the gangsters. A car dealership is selling dangerous, cheaply made cars, nearly killing multiple of their buyers. Clark and Lois get assigned to investigate the case. As Superman, Clark discovers gangsters that work at the shop to make old wrecks look like shiny new cars. As Clark, he and Lois talk to Speed, who wants them to stop printing about the crashes, but they refuse. A gangster known as the Top, disguised as a private investigator, approaches Clark and Lois and gives them his car. The car's brake line doesn't work, and Superman barely manages to stop a crash. Clark and Lois get tied up and placed under a hydraulic press. Clark stops it with his knees and rips out the wires. He leaves Lois there tied up, telling her he'll come back once he's turned in the story. He changes into Superman clothes and fights the thugs, the Top and Speed himself, getting them all arrested. Clark frees Lois and she submits her story before Clark, but Clark submits a better one. Friday summary. Captain Marvel Adventures number 11. Sivana becomes a good guy only because of Hitler. Turns out Sivana's goons were actually Nazi spies. Some high-up Nazi guy takes over all of Sivana's shit and has him tied up. There's some elaborate plot to take over America. Billy Batson investigates, gets captured, and brought to Sivana, who convinces the Nazis to join them if they let him attack Billy. They untie him, he removes Billy's gag. Billy becomes Captain America and saves the day. And yes, I did say Sivana becomes a good guy because of Hitler. Detective Comics number 63. This one I really liked. A man named Michael Baffle is executed by firing squad after the squad leaves. He stands up uninjured. Turns out he paid off the shooters to fire blanks. He even paid the executioner to not check the rifles. He moves to Gotham and goes up to a roof to inspect the city. He's approached by two thieves and ends up recruiting them for their first gig. They try to rob Bruce Wayne and are caught by the Batman. Mr. Baffle and the Batman tussle, and Mr. Baffle escapes, but both leave the fight laughing. Mr. Baffle shaves his mustache to disguise himself and begins going around as a photographer for a newspaper about celebrities' homes, secretly using his job to kiss their houses and steal from them afterwards. Dick is messing around with the newspaper and draws a mustache on Baffle's pictures, discovering he is the thief. Baffle is currently at a party preparing to steal from a bunch of celebrities. He convinces a couple of them to let him guard the jewels and telling him he's Batman. Linda, Bruce's love interest, figures out he's a liar because of his fingers. Batman arrives and the two have a sword duel. They're both chivalrous and it ends up being a fist fight. An angry mob arrives and Mr. Baffle escapes by throwing himself off a cliff. Saturday summary, Sunday summary, it's done. Okay, this one sucked. It was bad. It's a bad video. I didn't put much effort into it. I couldn't because I'm so sick of the weekly format. I'm done with it. I've done it for like 2 weeks. I'm done with it. It's just worse. I'm moving back to dailies. Which are better. They're just objectively better. Higher quality, higher quantity, too, and it's just more consistent. And I'm back from hiatus. Goodbye.